Arc Raiders has currently a total of 63 quests. I've gone ahead and completed them all, and today we're going to be doing a very quick short guide for all of the quests, explaining where you have to go, and I'll also tell you the easiest way to complete these quests. For the first few ones, they're pretty basic, but we still go over everything. As Arc Raiders adds more quests, I'll make sure to keep you guys updated, but until then, here are all of the 63 quests in the order that I've completed them. And if you're looking for a specific quest, by the way, just check out the timestamps below. So without any further ado, let's get right onto the first quest. So starting off with picking up the pieces, you'll just want to visit any of these areas that have these loot icons here and loot 3 containers. Pretty straightforward. Just open any boxes, drawers, whatever, and it's gonna count towards it. For clear skies, it's also pretty straightforward. Just destroy 3 arc enemies and they have a chance to drop an item called arc alloy, so just make sure you loot 3 of those. Trash into treasure is also pretty straightforward. 6 wires and 1 battery. These are found in both electrical areas as well as technological areas. So these little icons here, this little square and this little power icon, are the loot icons you're looking for if you want to try to get these as fast as possible. But generally you will find these pretty much everywhere. For a bad feeling, you must loot either a arc probe or a courier. Usually arc probes are a little bit easier to find as they'll be beeping pretty loudly. You can loot crashed arc probes as well and it will complete the mission for you. So these are pretty much scattered everywhere around the map. They're not really in a set location. For off the radar, you must visit a fuel depot and repair the antenna on top. You can find these generally outside of big loot locations. For example, in this power generation complex, you can find a fuel depot here. You can also always find a fuel depot in the dome, and they're usually kind of scattered around the map as well. Just make sure you climb on top of this fuel depot and repair the antenna on top and you will be done with the quest. For the right tool, you must destroy a fireball, a turret, and a hornet. You can usually find a fireball inside of research and administration. Hornets are always kind of flying everywhere, and you can also find turrets inside of research and administration as well. For safe passage, you must destroy 2 arc enemies using any explosive grenade. I would recommend using the light impact grenade and just throwing it at pops, as it will one-shot them and they are fairly easy to hit. For hatch repair, just walk up to any hatches that are scattered around the map, repair the valve that is on the side of the hatch, and you can even pick up a hatch key that will be located next to the hatch as well. You can even do a safe extract if you choose to do so. At this point, quests start getting a little bit more complicated. For a better use, you will need to look for a call station and you will need to request a supply drop. This is what a call station looks like. They're very small and very thin, so they can be kind of hard to spot, but they're scattered pretty much everywhere around the map. You can look up online resources for interactive maps to find out where they can spawn, as their spawns are not always guaranteed. I will have a link to an interactive map down in the description below. For what goes around, you will need to destroy any arc enemy using a fireball burner. So much like the safe passage mission, I would recommend going to the same pops and using a fireball burner on them. 1 to 2 will do the job just fine. For down to earth, we will once again need to go to a fuel depot, but this time we need to deliver a fueled crate. Usually fueled crates are located very close to the fuel depots. I would say at most about a 50-meter radius. You just kind of have to figure out where those spawn locations are. Eventually you kind of pick up on this, but early on it can be a pain in the ass. So just search near the fuel depot and you will find a fueled crate. You can also just use my video here as reference if you just want to do it as fast as possible. For sparks fly, you must destroy a hornet with a trigger nade or a snap blast. I would recommend using a trigger nade, and don't just try to hit a trigger nade with the hornet flying way up in the sky. Let it get a little bit close to you and aim at you as they will stop to do so, and at this time you can then throw the trigger nade on it safely and then just detonate it and you will one-shot it. For Trifecta, it's pretty straightforward. Destroy a wasp and loot its wasp driver, destroy a hornet and loot its hornet driver, and then destroy a snitch and loot its snitch scanners. All 3 of these enemies are the flying enemies and they'll just pretty much be flying above you all the time. Finding them is not going to be an issue. For greasing her palms, things start getting a little bit more complicated. For the dam battlegrounds, you must go into the locked room in the water treatment control building. And for this, you must bring the granted key you gain from accepting this quest in the first place. You will then want to go to this place here in the water treatment control, and you will want to open the locked room that I'm in right now, and you will have completed the damn battlegrounds part. In spaceport, you must come to this part of the map right here and pretty much just walk up to these two rocket turbines, and you will get the mission accomplished just by getting to this place. As for the buried city, you must go to space travel, and you must go up the stairs to the 6th floor, and there will be a door that is barricaded that you must breach. In this video, as you're seeing there in the background, it had already been breached by other players, so all I had to do was really just walk in the room and the mission was complete. For dormant husks, there is no specific map that you must complete this on, but for example in the damn battlegrounds, what you can do is go to the old battlegrounds location in the map and just loot one of these big baron husks, which are these big machines here that you must kind of climb up and loot up top. For doctor's orders, you're gonna need a little bit of RNG. So for the syringe and antiseptic, you can loot these in medical locations such as the hospital in Buried City, for example. For durable cloth as well, these are located pretty much everywhere. As for the Great Mulliton, they're also pretty easy to find. You can go to the Galleria, and on the first and on the second floor, there are these plants that you can harvest, literally located everywhere all over the Galleria. So just loot one and you're gonna have this complete. For mixed signals, you're gonna need to destroy an arc surveyor. Is that how you read that? Surveyor? These are the big roly-polies, and these are extremely armored. You must be careful because as soon as you get close to it or engage, it will try to run away from you. What I would recommend you bring is bring a ton of heavy ammo and perhaps like an anvil or a ferrule, and bring a showstopper as well. Showstopper is pretty crucial here because you can stun it in its place and you can kill it before it can run away. You can of course use better utilities such as Wolfpack, but I don't think that's a necessity. Just bring a showstopper and some heavy weaponry and you're gonna be fine. As far as finding these goes, you can just find its blue beam shooting up in the sky. You can even spot that across the map. These are kind of rare, probably one of the most rare arc. So I would just kind of recommend just having a showstopper on your safe pocket, and whenever you do come across one of these, you go for a kill. For what we left behind, we have another multi-map quest. So let's start off with the damn battlegrounds. In the damn battlegrounds, we're gonna be going into the South Swamp Outpost, and we're gonna be picking up these notes right here, which are located right in this part of the map. Over at the Buried City, what you want to do is you go to the parking garage and you breach this locked door found on the bottom floor. After you do that, you go downstairs and you pretty much just search for 2 different containers for you to loot, which is surprisingly hard to find. Actually, it took me a little bit to kind of find these. And over at Spaceport, if you go to the container storage rooftop location, you will spot out the hideout you're looking for with its yellow tarp. So what you can do is you can either go underneath it and climb the ladder, or you can just climb the wall and walk up to it. When you get into the hideout, there's going to be some notes for you to collect, and at that point you will have completed the quest. For a first foothold, you're going to have to complete 4 different steps scattered all over Blue Gate. So first of all, for the enabling comms terminal near the Olive Grove, you'll want to go to this location right here, which is pretty much in between Olive Grove and Highway Collapse, and you will want to interact with this computer right here. For stabilizing the deck near the ridge line, just walk into the ridge line and you'll find this little, I guess, platform or deck, of course. You're just going to interact with the deck from one of the sides and you're going to complete it pretty easily as well. For the satellite dish, if you go kind of northwest of the data vault, you'll see this church with a satellite on top of it. All you got to do is just climb on top of it. I kind of had a hard time doing it, so I just ziplined up, and then you'll want to interact with the satellite dish. Lastly, we want to go dead in the center of Trapper's Glade, and there will be this sort of broken home where you just kind of climb up to the top and you once again just interact with it. This quest is overall pretty easy to do. It's just kind of hard to kind of find all these locations. For Broken Monument, you must find 3 different items kind of scattered around in Scrapyard. First off, the duct tape is over by these pipes here, which is pretty much smack dead in the middle of the Scrapyard. And then you've got the compass, which is in between this section here with all of the vehicles. And the field rations, which is a little bit harder to find. You must kind of go a little bit north and you will find this big container where the field rations will just be there on the floor. After you pick those up, you must deliver it back to Tien Wen. If you die before you deliver it, you will have to redo this entire section. For straight record, you must first reach Victory Ridge. This is on the northwest part of the Damn Battlegrounds map. If you're lucky enough, you can actually spawn here, which is what happened here in this video. And then you'll want to walk up to this EMP trap, which kind of looks like a Tesla tower, and you'll want to investigate with it. After doing so, you will have to disable 3 different generators. The first one is a little bit north of the EMP trap. You'll deactivate it, and then you'll want to take this path down here, climb up onto the building, cross the building, jump across, and then turn off the second generator. For the third generator, it will be a little bit south of the EMP trap, which you will then want to interact with it, of course. And lastly, to close it off, you just go back to the EMP trap and investigate it one last time, and you will finally be done with this quest. Next up, we've got Marked for Death, and oh my god, what a headache this quest gave me. So first of all, you want to find the Sud Durante warehouses in Buried City, which is located on this part of the map. On the side of the warehouse, there will be this cache, which you'll interact with it, and then the mission tells you to follow the clues. And guess what? I thought it was these red flags right here, and I spent an hour searching for these red flags and trying to understand where they led me to, but it actually has nothing to do with that. Underneath this cache, as you can kind of see, there are going to be footsteps, and just a few meters behind the cache, if you follow the footsteps, there will be the interactable object for you to finish off the mission. Holy crap, it was so easy, and it took me so long. For Reduced to Rubble, we must once again go back to Blue Gate. To start off, we go to the highway collapse location in the southwest part of the Blue Gate, and we'll want to take a picture of the highway right about here where it kind of breaks off. After that, we want to go to the Broken Earth location, and then we'll move onto the next part of the quest where we have to follow a trail, and we'll come across this big arc robot. And as you kind of just go beneath this arc robot, there will be a prompt for you to investigate these arc machines, and you will have completed the mission. Keeping the memory is pretty straightforward. You'll want to go to the wreckage location in the Damn Battlegrounds, and there will be this big dead robot there. A little bit northeast of this robot right here, there will be a plant where you can search for a helmet. And a little bit west of that little plant, there will be a little memorial for you to deposit that helmet, and you'll have completed the mission. For market correction, it's also pretty easy to do. Go into the Buried City and go to Murano Station. By Murano Station, there will be these sort of like newspaper stations, and one of them will have a lot of those little red flags scattered around it. And if you go right behind it, there will be 2 trash bins, which you just interact with it, and that will complete the mission. For eyes on the prize, you want to go to this location on the south part of Buried City, and you'll see this one rooftop with all of the blue tarp. On the blue tarp rooftop, there will be this little generator for you to rewire, which will cost 3 wires. So make sure to either bring it on with you or to loot wire somewhere along in your run before you do this quest. You rewire the generator and you will be done with the quest. For industrial espionage, you'll want to go to the gas station location in the Buried City, and you'll want to bring a Berletta with you. You will reach this weapon cache and you will have to deposit a Berletta in it, and you will then have to interact with it again to bug the weapon cache, and once you do that, you will have completed the mission and you can move on to the next one. For Echoes of the Victory Ridge, you'll want to go over here to the West Broken Bridge, and you'll look for this part here where the bridge has collapsed. You'll try to go underneath it, and under one of these broken parts, as you can see here in the video, there will be a little hideout, which will then have a box for you to interact with, which will drop battle plans, which you have to loot and bring back home to Esperanza. And remember, if you do die with this equipped, you will have to come back here and redo the quest all over again. So make sure you put this in the safe pocket if you're not running a free loadout. For Unexpected Initiative, it can be a little bit confusing. First, you'll need to go to the Grandioso Apartments, and you'll want to go to the rooftop of it. You go to the rooftop and there will be this sort of pot which you can just pick up the fertilizer. And after you do so, you'll want to go towards Piazza Roma. There will be these two big tall buildings on the opposite side of the Grandioso apartments, and you'll want to go to those tall buildings and you want to go to that rooftop. On that rooftop, you will find the water pump there. It can be a little bit confusing because you may think that it should be somewhere here in Piazza Roma, but instead it's actually here on this tall building. After you get these two items, you must extract with them and bring them back to finish off your quest. For a Symbol of Unification, you'll want to go all the way south to this location right here, Pharmacist Outpost, and you want to get in the building and you want to loot the flag that's on this bag on top of this bed here, and you go onto the bigger room on the Pharmacist Outpost, and one of the little balconies will have a place for you to hang this flag, specifically the balcony that's facing towards the Red Lakes. So once you do that, you will have completed this quest. For the Major's Footlocker, pretty straightforward. You'll want to go to this location right here by the Ruby Residence, more specifically the building on the west side, and it's, I believe, on the second or third floor, and you'll find this box on top of this table right here. You'll just have to loot it and pick up the item inside and extract with it. After you do so, you'll complete the quest. Out of the Shadows is another pretty straightforward mission. You must destroy a Rocketeer, and to do this solo, what I'd recommend you do is just bring 1 to 2 wolf packs and just throw it at the Rocketeer. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. After you kill the Rocketeer, do make sure to remember to loot it because you'll need to extract with a Rocketeer driver. So make sure you do that to complete your quest. Celeste's journal can be kind of a pain in the ass. You have to retrieve 2 journals from the complete opposite sides of the map. The first one is here on the South Swamp Outpost. You'll loot the journal right here on top of these beds, and then you have to go all the way across to the opposite side of the map, all the way to the Raider Outpost East, and then you'll find the second journal once again on top of a bed. Once you loot these 2 journals, you have to extract with them successfully, or else you have to repeat it. Sadly, I died twice making this quest, so it was a pretty big pain in the butt. Back on top, we'll have you spray painting a couple of walls, to be specific on each of the different maps. So first off, for the damn battlegrounds, we walk right up to the pattern house and we spray paint the wall on one of its sides, more specifically the west side of the building at the bottom floor. Over at the Buried City, we'll go a little bit northeast from the buried properties and we'll find this mural on one of the walls, and we'll be able to spray paint on that specific wall to complete on Buried City. For Spaceport, we'll go to the South Trench Tower and we'll spray paint the southwest wall of the tower. And overall on Blue Gate, I found it a bit harder to find. We'll go southwest of the warehouse complex and we'll find this white tower, which can be kind of hidden depending what angle you're looking at it. And we'll go to the south wall of this building and we'll spray paint there. After you do that, you will have completed this mission. For medical merchandise, we once again have a multi-map quest. Starting off on them battlegrounds, we'll want to go to research and administration. We want to go to the second floor and we'll go to the corner of this building, more specifically the southwest corner of this building, and there will be a medical room on there. Once you get to this room, just loot 2 different containers and you will have completed your part for them battlegrounds. Over on Buried Cities, it's even easier. You just go to the hospital and you pretty much loot anywhere in the hospital. Just loot 3 different containers and you will complete this part of the mission extremely easily. Lastly, to close it off, on Spaceport, you want to go to the departure building and you want to go to the second floor. And on the second floor, you want to go to the northmost part of the building and you will come across this exam room, which you can then just get in and once again, just loot 2 different containers. Next up, we have a reveal in ruins. So we'll want to go to any pharmacy in Buried Cities. It's from my understanding that you can find a pharmacy pretty much on every plaza in the map. But either way, I did mine on Plaza Rosa. So you go into the pharmacy in Plaza Rosa, you reach open the door, and behind the counter, there will be this little box for you to interact. You then just kind of pick it up and bring it back. You extract with it, and and you will have completed this quest once again. With a trace will have us going back to Blue Gate. So first we'll go to the Baron clearing and we'll see this big Baron husk that has been taken down. Just follow the wires next to it and you will spot out this little machine for you to investigate. And after you do investigate with it, it will have you go to the Adorned Wreckage, which is a little bit more southeast from this location. And once you do reach the Adorned Wreckage, you go onto this machine right here and you'll inspect the communications device on it. And with that, once again, we've completed the quest. Our presence up there is pretty easy. Go into the damn battlegrounds and head to the pattern house. In the pattern house at the bottom floor, there will be this sort of like electrical room where you can then go and flip the power switch. Once you do that, just go all the way to the roof and there will be a computer there, which you just have to interact with it. Lost in Transmission will grant you a key to the control tower zipline. Take the zipline all the way to the top and just interact with the computer that's kind of right in front of you. Do make sure though to bring this key. I went in once without bringing in the key and just to realize that the door was locked and having to extract it just to get the key in. A lay of the land will have you going into the spaceport into two different locations. First of all, the Jiangsu warehouse. You want to go to the second floor where the office is. And you'll see the notes just kind of sitting there on the table. Go ahead and loot that. After doing that, you want to go to the control tower. You don't want to go up the zip line. That's not where you want to go. The control tower has two different buildings. You want to go on this building right here. You then go onto the second floor and one of the little offices on the close right corner when you go up the zip line will have the scanner just kind of sitting there. After you pick these up, remember, you have to extract with these safely. As for communication hideout, things can be a little bit tricky to find. So first you want to go into the red tower and then you want to go all the way down. Underneath the red tower, there's this generator, and on the opposite side of the generator, you'll see a backpack which you can loot and interact with. Once you loot that battery cell, you'll carry it onto the generator, and then after you put that into the generator, you turn on the generator, and then you want to climb back up the tower. And right underneath the tower, like one floor below it, there's a little balcony with a computer on it. You interact with this computer and you will complete this mission. For Eyes in the Sky, you must install 3 different scanners on 3 different maps. Let's go ahead and start off with the hardest one first. On Buried City, you want to go to the top of the Galleria. There's a couple ways to get up there. You can get in through the hospital and, well, there's a couple of other ways. But once you get to that rooftop, you want to zip line on top of this really tall sign. All the way up there, there is a weapon box, as well as, of course, the place for you to interact to complete the mission. Over at Spaceport, on the east side of the map, you go into the communications tower, and well, there will be this tower. You climb up the ladder, and right next to you, there will be a place for you to interact and install your scanner. Over at the damn battlegrounds, you just gotta climb the research and administration tower. You go all the way to the top, all the way to the rooftop, and then in the corner of the rooftop you can go ahead and install a scanner there. We're back again onto the damn battlegrounds and once again back to the research and administration building. We'll go up to the upper floor where we've done a lot of these quests already, and you look for a room called Lab 1. It'll have a label outside. It's really close to that one medical room we went a couple of quests ago. You go into this room and it will be actually 2 rooms. You go into the second room and there will be notes on top of a desk. You just pick that up and you will have completed this quest. After Rain Comes is pretty easy. Just make sure you have 5 wires and 2 batteries with you when you're doing this quest. And you're gonna go into these solar panels that are right next to the Grandioso apartments. And you're gonna repair this sort of little generator that's next to it, and once you do that, you'll complete this quest. For the Untended Garden quest, you want to go to the damn battlegrounds and you want to go to the hydroponic dome complex location. If you go to the southmost dome, there will be a computer there that you can interact with. And after you do that, there is a field depot right outside of this very dome, which will have another computer for you to interact with. And once you do that, you will have completed this quest as well. For the root of the matter, you want to go into the Buried City. You go to the research building and you take the zip line all the way to the top floor. On the top floor, you'll then go into this room here, which is the room with the great view. You then interact with this machine here on the left side, and it will drop a seed sample which you must bring with you and extract with. For water trouble, go into this location and you will then find this big pipe here. You go into this big pipe, you follow through with it, and there will be this sort of like sewers. On the far left corner of this sewer, there will be this sort of pipe leaking water, which you then can go and take a sample of the water. And by doing that, you will have completed the quest. For Source of Decontamination, sadly, this is the only quest where I don't have any footage of. I accidentally was not recording, but thankfully, this is an extremely easy mission. So you want to go to this part of the water treatment control, exactly this little location that's showing here on the picture. In this location, in the water, there will be something for you to interact with, which once you do, you will have completed the mission. It's not hidden or anything. It's like pretty much in the middle of the sewer water. Switching the supply can be a little tricky, but knowing the location, it's actually extremely easy. So what you want to do is go to the tunnel system in Spaceport. They're located right here, as you can see in the mini map. And dead in the center of this tunnel, there will be this sort of collapsed part. And almost under one of these collapsed debris, there will be this yellow valve, as you can see right here. You just turn that valve and you will have completed the mission. For Into the Fray, you have to destroy a Leaper and loot its Leaper pulse unit. And much like the Rocketeer mission, I would recommend you just use 2 wolf packs on it. That is if you want to go the easiest route anyways. There's of course a million ways you can kill them, but that's just the easier way to do it, especially solo. For a warm place to rest, go to the southwest part of the buried city. There will be this zip line for you to take, which will get you into the abandoned highway camp. That's where the mission is gonna start off. You'll then have to follow flags that will literally take you across the map. You will pretty much follow the entire bridge and then some. If you just want to find the final location, here it is here in the gameplay. But yeah, essentially you just kind of follow these red markers for a long time and you kind of just cross the entire map doing it. But once you get to this final place and you inspect the grave, you will have finished this mission. For prescriptions of the past, it's pretty easy. We've been to this exact room in another quest before. We go to the departure building in Spaceport, and I believe it's the 2nd floor, and we'll go into the medical exam room. We've been here, I think about 10 or 15 quests ago. Just go into this medical exam room and there will be notes on top of this desk. You just read it and you will have completed the quest after you do so. For Power Out, it's another very easy quest. We go into Spaceport and we're going to go to the southwest of the map where it says Electrical Substation. Inside the electrical substation, dead in the middle of it, there will be this little box where you pick up and you're going to carry it onto a generator of sorts behind you. You're going to install the fuse, which means you just interact with it, and then you turn on this machinery and you will have completed this quest. For Flickering Threat, you want to go into the generator room in the Dam Battlegrounds. You go to this generator hall, which is downstairs. You'll see these big machineries and you walk up to this one and you see the wires just pretty much glowing yellow, letting you know that that's where the quest is, which you will then need 4 wires to repair this generator. Once you do that, you're gonna then turn around, go up the stairs, take a left, and right underneath this ventilation shaft, there will be another generator here for you to interact with. But this one, you just flip the power switch and you will have finished this. For bees, we must go back to Blue Gate. So first you want to go to the Olive Grove, and on the southwest of the Olive Grove, you will spot this shack, which will have beehives hanging off of it. And all you have to do is just interact with these beehives and you will complete the mission. For Espresso, we must go back to Buried City, and I'm not exactly sure if you can complete this mission at any coffee shop. I know there's a couple scattered around the map, but where I completed mine was over here on Plaza Rosa. When you're in the center of the Plaza Rosa, just look for a shop that will say cafe outside, and you just want to walk in and there will be an espresso machine right on the counter, and all you have to do is just interact with it, and I believe you have to grab the part and take it back with you. But after you do that, you will have completed the mission. The life of a pharmacist, once again in the buried city. This time we'll want to go to the Plaza Arbusto. That's right underneath the collapsed highway. And you look for this pharmacy here that has a locked door. What you must do is you must breach in. After you get into it, you'll want to go up the stairs, and up the stairs you'll find a piano just sitting against the wall. You want to document that. Also, right as you come up the stairs, you will see this painting or picture that you must also document. And as you go into the other room, there will be a plant on top of this desk on the left side. You also must document that. And underneath the staircase, there will be a table where you also want to document the pharmacist's food. And once you do that, you will have documented everything you need and you can move on to the next quest. For tribute to Toledo, what you must do is you must find a power rod and just deliver it. So power rods can be pretty hard to find. They're usually found in generators and you'll have a very slim chance of being able to find one there when you're opening those. But there is one way which you can guarantee a power rod and just grab it immediately, and that's going to be by recycling the snap hook. Now this is going to be up to you whether you want to do it this way, but if you recycle a snap hook, you will get both a power rod as well as some rope, and in that way you can get a 100% chance here. Otherwise, just go around in electrical or industrial areas and loot different generators, and eventually you're probably gonna come across a power rod. For digging up dirt, it's pretty easy. You just gotta find the Santa Maria houses in Old Town in Buried City. And what you gotta do is just go into the Santa Maria house, and well, in the middle of the courtyard there will be something for you to interact with. It can be a little tricky to get in. I found the only way personally that I found to get into this house is through the roof. So you want to take like a neighboring house and you want to go to the top of it. You want to go to the rooftop of it. And then you want to go in through the attic and then make your way down to the Santa Maria house. And then you'll come across once again at this courtyard, which you then just interact with this fountain-like thing in the middle, and you will have completed the quest. For building a library, you must go to the library in Buried City. So you'll find the adventure and the detective book on the second floor. If you go up these stairs, you'll come right across the adventure book here on this little bookshelf on the right side. And then from this location, you just continue going forward, and past this bigger bookshelf, there will be another smaller bookshelf which you interact with, and you'll pick up the detective book. For the romance book, it's actually downstairs. It's over by these bookshelves that have kind of fallen over here by the window, and it can be a little bit hard to spot, especially if you're playing on lower resolutions. The books don't actually render until you get a little bit closer, so you'll want to interact with that. And thankfully there is a substation right underneath which you can extract, because you will need to do so. You must extract these 3 books to complete this mission. For Turnabout, we go into the spaceport, and what you want to do is you want to go to the North Trench Tower, which is located in the northeast side of the map. And you will want to bring the granted key you've been given. So you want to bring the North Trench Tower key, and you'll want to open that up. And once you get into this location, you want to go to the floor right above the entrance, and you will find this computer here for you to interact with. This place is also full of loot, so make sure you reap the rewards and you'll come out of there pretty loaded. For a new type of plant, we're back onto the damn battlegrounds. You want to go to the old battleground location in this map, and you will see this big dead rusty Baron husk, and underneath this husk there will be plants. I believe the spawn locations can kind of vary. Just look right underneath it, as you kind of see here in the video, and you will find these plants somewhere near the Baron husk. You must also extract with this plant and bring it back home, or else you will not complete this mission. I did fail it once, and the plant did spawn on a different location, which is why I'm saying I believe the location can kind of vary a little bit, but it is always underneath that husk. For the last quest of today's video is armored transports. You must be a little bit careful for this quest, and I'll explain why. First, you want to go to the checkpoint location in the map on Blue Gate, and you will see these sort of guard huts, and in one of these huts there will be a key for you to loot. Make sure you put this key in your safe pocket, because there have been reports of players saying that if they die with the safe key in their backpacks, the safe key disappears and they can't seem to loot it. So if that does happen to you, you'll most likely want to play with somebody else who hasn't completed the quest yet and have them loot the key and you guys can complete it together. Me personally, I did put the key in my safe pocket and I did die. So that was interesting. I was very thankful that I didn't lose it. But either way, after you loot this key, just follow the road a little bit and you come into this really big tunnel. Inside this tunnel, there are a couple of armored transports, and I believe these can kind of vary a little bit. So just look for the transport that is locked. Most of them are going to be open and empty, but just keep searching. And me personally, I found the armored transport all the way in the back, with the back of it locked for me to complete the mission. So once you do this, you will have completed all of the quests in Arc Raider so far. They are going to be releasing new quests, I believe already this month. So I will be covering those as well. So make sure you guys tune in, like and subscribe the video if it was useful to you guys. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll be catching you legends on the next one. Peace.